March 17, 2025, and the war in Ukraine, now in its fourth brutal year, stands at a crossroads. US President Donald Trump will call Vladimir Putin to hammer out a 30-day ceasefire that Ukraine agreed to last week in Saudi Arabia. Russia's held nearly a fifth of Ukraine's land since invading in 2022, with over 600,000 lives lost in the grinding conflict. Putin signaled he's open to peace, but only if Trump can answer his 7 critical questions, conditions laid out in a Moscow press conference that could make or break the truce. Last Thursday, Putin stood beside Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko in the Kremlin, detailing his terms. The ceasefire push comes after months of Russian gains, like the fall of Pokrovsk in February, and Ukraine's weakening grip with a bold but faltering raid into Russia's Kursk region last summer. Putin's questions reflect his leverage and his doubts, honed from 3 years of war. If Trump can resolve these 7 concerns, peace might take hold. Otherwise, the fighting rolls on. Here's what Putin's demanding. Putin's first question digs into the heart of the conflict. Will this ceasefire deliver a lasting peace and address the war's root causes? He's framed this war as a response to Ukraine's drift from Russia's orbit, starting with the 2014 Maidan uprising that ousted a pro-Moscow leader. Since then, he's seized Crimea and 4 eastern regions, claiming them in 2022's staged referendums despite global outcry. After years of failed talks, like the Minsk agreements, he's pushing for a truce that settles these disputes his way, not just a temporary halt to the shelling.
We all have enough on our plates, but many state leaders, the chairman of the People's Republic of China, the Prime Minister of India, the presidents of Brazil and South Africa, are also spending considerable time on this issue. We're grateful to all of them because this effort is aimed at achieving the noble mission of ending hostilities and human losses. Second, we agree with the proposals to stop hostilities, but we believe this cessation must lead to long-term peace and eliminate the original causes of this crisis.
He's signaling Trump needs to offer more than a break. Putin wants a deal that rewrites the map for good. Next, Putin turns to a sore spot, Russia's Kursk region where Ukrainian troops are trapped. What happens to them in a truce? Last August, Ukraine launched a daring incursion, grabbing 1,000 square kilometers to disrupt Russian lines and boost morale after losing ground in the east. Putin's forces countered hard. By March, he claims they've boxed in thousands, cutting off supplies and escape routes. He's been hands-on, visiting Kursk just days ago, and now wants Trump to clarify their fate in any ceasefire deal.
I was in the Kursk region yesterday, listening to reports from the Chief of the General Staff, the commander of the North Grouping, and his deputy about the situation in the border area, particularly in the zone of incursion in the Kursk region. What's going on there? The situation is fully under our control, and the group that invaded our territory is isolated. It's complete isolation and under full fire control. What do we do with this section in Klinin in the Kursk region? If we stop hostilities for 30 days, does that mean everyone there gets to leave without a fight?
It's a tactical puzzle. Will Trump let them slip away or force a tougher outcome? Third, Putin raises a charged issue. Will alleged war criminals in Kursk go free under this truce? Russia's state media has trumpeted claims of Ukrainian attacks killing over 100 civilians there since the incursion began, though hard evidence is thin. Putin's painted this raid as a provocation, contrasting it with Ukraine's broader losses, over 50,000 civilian deaths nationwide, per UN counts, mostly from Russian strikes. He's now asking Trump if a ceasefire means letting these fighters off the hook, or if there's a price to pay.
In these conditions, it seems to me it would be very good for the Ukrainian side to achieve at least a 30-day truce, and we're in favor. But there's a nuance. What's that? First, what do we do with this section in Klinin, in the Kursk region? Are we supposed to let them go after they've committed numerous crimes against civilians? Or will the Ukrainian leadership order them to lay down arms and surrender?
It's a moral and strategic line. Putin wants accountability or at least leverage in any deal. Fourth, Putin's focused on the 30-day truce itself. What will Ukraine do with that time? Since 2022, Ukraine's leaned on Western weapons, F-16 jets since 2024, HIMARS launchers pounding Russian lines, but losses have piled up, with manpower stretched thin after lowering the draft age to 25. Putin's seen Ukraine rebuild before, like after the 2022 Kharkiv counter-offensive that reclaimed thousands of kilometers. He's worried this pause could be a reset button for Kyiv, not a step to peace.
So how will these 30 days be used? For forced mobilization in Ukraine? To deliver weapons there? To train newly mobilized units? Or will none of that happen?
He's pressing Trump for a promise. Will it be quiet or a rearmament race? Fifth, Putin digs into trust. How can Russia be sure Ukraine won't exploit the ceasefire? The Minsk agreements of 2014 and 2015, meant to stop fighting in Donbass, crumbled amid mutual accusations. Russia kept arming separatists, Ukraine kept resisting. By 2022, that distrust exploded into full war, with Putin claiming Ukraine's Western ties as the betrayal. Now facing a new truce, he's skeptical Kyiv will play fair without hard proof. It's a history lesson for Trump. Putin wants guarantees, not good faith. Sixth, Putin asks who will enforce this truce across Ukraine's 2,000-kilometer front. Russia's been on the march in 2025. Pokrovsk fell in February, a key eastern hub, and Donetsk's edges are buckling under steady pressure. The front stretches from Kherson's plains to Luhansk's hills, a jagged line of trenches and ruins. Putin's forces have momentum, and he's questioning how any ceasefire holds without clear authority over that vast stretch.
And what about the other issues along the entire line of contact, almost 2,000 kilometers? As you know, Russian troops are advancing on nearly all sections of the combat line. So, who will issue the orders to stop hostilities? And what weight will those orders carry? How will control be organized?
He's looking to Trump. Who's in charge and can they make it stick? Seventh, Putin wants to know who'll judge if the ceasefire breaks. Minsk II in 2015 saw over 1,000 violations, Russian artillery, Ukrainian drones, each side pointing fingers as peace dissolved. Today's war is deadlier, with long-range missiles and tech muddying the lines. Putin's been burned by chaos before, and he's asking Trump how this truce avoids the same fate. Who decides when it's over?
Who will issue the orders to stop hostilities? And what weight will those orders carry? Imagine, almost 9,000 kilometers. Who will determine where and by whom a potential ceasefire agreement might be violated along 2,000 kilometers? And then who will blame whom for breaking it?
It's a practical hurdle. Without a referee, Putin sees collapse. Trump takes on Putin's 7 keys. From Moscow, Putin's drawn the line. Answer these and peace could settle, cementing Russia's hold and Ukraine's scars. No answers, and the war, 600,000 dead and counting, marches on. It's Trump's move to unlock Putin's terms, or the guns keep firing.